Stop doing these things on your GLP-1 journey. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel for another video today. This one, we are going to get real and honest and talk about things that you might be doing on your GLP-1 journey that are actually going to hurt you in your journey in the long run. If you are new here, my name's Brittany. Hi. I've lost 115 pounds on a GLP-1, first brand Mounjaro, and then compounded tirzepatide. And here on my channel, I share everything about GLP-1s. We do an interview series where some of you share or professionals come on and share. I do deep dives on certain topics. I share my personal journey. We share it all here. So if any of that interests you, I would love to have you hit that subscribe button, leave me a comment, stick around, and have fun. This is a really great community here of mostly really respectful people who just all want to better their health. And so if that's what you're looking for, it's a great place to do it. I also have a Facebook group that is a free encouragement group that is always linked down below. So, for reference, I've been here and I've done a lot of, all of these things I have done. Some of these things I have done recently, okay? So I am not coming at this, I wanna make sure I say this, I'm not coming at this from a place of, I'm perfect, I did all of these things right, and so I'm gonna tell you what you are probably doing wrong. I don't feel like that's a good learning way, right? I feel like we as humans should be able to admit our mistakes. And so I'm coming at you guys with this of, I learned all of this the hard way because I've made every single one of these mistakes. So kind of know that going in, and I'll talk about that, kind of how these applied to my journey and what I did and what the result was sort of throughout the video as well. Starting off though, I am not a doctor. As always, please remember to always consult with your healthcare provider about anything regarding your own personal health, your dosage, your journey in any way, shape, or form, or anything about your health. Take care of yourself, talk to your provider, and not somebody just on the internet. So the number one biggest mistake that I see people make, and I know, Anna, the dietitian that we had on, she was saying this as well. This is the number one thing she sees: skipping meals. And I know that sounds like, oh, well, of course you're going to say we need to eat food, blah, blah, blah. But y'all don't understand how important it is to make sure you are getting enough energy and enough food. Your body cannot do the things that it needs to do without proper nutrition. It's just science. You just can't do it. Can you do it for a short term? I mean, I guess, but it's not going to end well in the end, and you're going to break your body down and harm your body in ways that it doesn't need to be done. Just thinking of like muscle loss on a GLP-1, that's a huge one. Under-fueling protein and otherwise is a huge reason why a lot of us end up with muscle loss. I talked in a video last week about how, they've sort of, it's a direct correlation, the muscle loss, to fast weight loss versus it being a correlation to the GLP-1 itself. So it's the fact that we're losing weight so quickly on the GLP-1 that is causing the muscle loss, not necessarily the GLP-1, the peptide itself, right? So besides muscle loss, you're also going to notice that your body just sort of enters starvation mode. What does that look like? What does starvation mode look like? So your signs of under eating include dizziness. This is one that I have mentioned so many times on this channel, right? I stand up, I'm dizzy. It doesn't happen as often as it did previously when I was really in weight loss mode. I eat more now though, and it's gone away as I've eaten more. So I'm a perfect example. I was doing it wrong and I corrected it. So dizziness when you stand up, and this is partly because of your blood sugar dropping. And then you stand up and you're like, oh Lord, okay. Shakiness. So like when you're trying to write or do something on your phone and you're shaky. Brain fog was a huge one for me. Like I would forget things mid-sentence. Like it was bad for me. Feeling cold all of the time. This is one that Chris actually experiences still, I think. He's cold all the time, and that is a sign. And the thing is what's happening is your body is taking resource energy from the extremities, from the areas that don't need the energy as much, and they take it to your heart and your lungs and your brain and your liver and all of the organs that need the warmth, the energy, the protection, get it, and then you end up being cold because there's no energy left to keep the rest of you warm. So eat some food, okay? feeling cold all the time, even fainting, which we all know. If you were around for my Grit with Lodge experience, you know that I almost fainted down 14 flights of stairs on a water slide line, carrying a float with my 4-year-old with me. So I definitely experienced that one. So you need to eat a minimum of 1,200 calories per day, minimum. And that is low. 1,200 calorie diets are not sustainable for any length of time for anybody. But like if you're a counter and you want to make sure you're getting enough to eat, 1,200 calories minimum. I'll talk to people sometimes that are like, oh, I eat 700 or 800 calories. I'm like, eat some more food. Just drink a protein shake or two throughout the day. You got to eat some more food. Number 2, going into it blindly. Now, what I mean by this is that there's a lot of people that are now in the community, and most often they are the people that are in the community and are like having problems or are complaining about things or are giving the community a negative light, casting a negative light on the community. There are people that see something online, and I cannot blame them because we've all fallen victim to this in some way, shape, or form in our life. But, you know, they see an ad for a telehealth company on TikTok, or they see an ad for a telehealth company on Facebook, or they see, you know, people talking about Ozempic on Entertainment Tonight or whatever, and they go and they purchase the med blindly without knowing anything about it, without knowing at all what to expect, without really talking to a doctor about what to expect. And then they have no clue. So they either do it wrong or they don't change anything, or they're given these compounded meds that they don't know how to inject. And then it ends up surprising them when they don't lose a ton of weight, or when they have these side effects that they could have avoided if they just kind of knew a little bit about the shot itself. It is unrealistic to think that you're going to go into this and drop 30 pounds in a month. And that's what, because people will see the highlight reels, right, of other people's stories online. And they're like, oh, okay, well, I can just buy this shot and take this shot and do nothing else and lose 30 pounds in a month. And that's not true, right? You have to change your lifestyle, whether you do it through counting or whether you do it through intuitiveness and listening to your body. You have to change your lifestyle. So it's unrealistic. And what that does with not losing weight as fast as they saw Betty Sue do it on the internet, or having all of these terrible side effects that, again, they could have avoided most of them with just some small changes, they end up quitting prematurely, and then they call themselves non-responders. Or it's one of two things. They quit prematurely. They tell everybody they're non-responders. They go all over the internet telling all of the people how awful GLP-1s are and how awful their side effects were on them. And then they discourage people who really need it and really might be good candidates from getting it. So they do that. Or they say, okay, well, you know, I'm taking 2.5, I'm not losing anything. I'll go to 5. I'll go to 7.5. And they increase really quickly. Again, still not changing anything. And then they have terrible side effects and they end up in the hospital, you know, and then it turns into the other thing. I got these horrible side effects. So the point of this to say, you need a realistic view of what is going to happen when you take a GLP-1. And the only way that you can get that is through educating yourself. Watch some videos, Google, ask ChatGPT. She's right most of the time, you know, some stuff. And usually, at least for me, I can like look at ChatGPT and I'm like, sister, this is not true. You know, like I can pick out the things that are like, come on, you know. I know that not everybody can, but if you've read enough ChatGPT, it gets to be like really obvious when she has no clue what she's talking about. She's a person. When she has no clue what she's talking about and is just like pulling random crap from Reddit threads or whatever. Actually, if she sources Reddit, because you know she always sources, I'm like, girl, we could have done better than this. But anyway, that was a tangent. Ask ChatGPT. Look it up on YouTube. Look it up on TikTok from a provider's standpoint. Like find real providers, people that can actually educate you, actually give you some good ideas and tips and tricks. And don't just expect that you take the shot and you lose a bunch of weight. Have realistic expectations. Going right along with that, and I mean, both of these things kind of go right along with it. Stop increasing your dose too quickly. You should only increase your dose, and this is what everybody kind of says right now. If you have not lost any weight for 4 to 6 weeks, you're having more appetite, less appetite suppression, you're having more food noise over a good consistent amount of time. If you have a bad week, That doesn't necessarily mean that you need to increase. The benefit of not increasing until you really, really need to is so that you don't max out on dosage and then have nowhere else to go. I've never gone above 10 consistently. I did 12 and a half, but that was when I was bi-weekly injecting. So I've never gone above 10 weekly. And so I always know, it's always in the back of my mind, I have those 2 other doses if I should ever need them. I've not maxed out, quote unquote. So higher doses do not equal more weight loss. I'm gonna put that on a t-shirt. Higher doses do not equal more weight loss. They just do not. My perfect dose could be 5. Yours could be 15. It just depends on the person. So don't increase your dose just because you feel like you have to every month or because you feel like it'll give you faster weight loss. It's just gonna give you more side effects. You're just gonna be like vomiting more and unable to get off your couch is all that's gonna happen. So take it easy. Easy does it. The turtle's gonna win, I promise. The next one is obviously stop relying only on the med and then calling yourself a non-responder. I did this video, you guys are watching it today as I'm filming this video, but you're not a non-responder if you take the shot and change nothing else about your life. If you don't go for a walk, if you don't try to make healthier choices, if you can only call yourself a non-responder if you've done the work along with the med and you still are not having results. So stop relying only on the med, calling yourself a non-responder, and then going all over the internet and telling everybody that it doesn't work. Okay? And whatever number we're on, I don't know, I didn't number these. The last one that I have down is stop ignoring your mental health. Y'all, last time I mentioned this, I got like a lot of people were like, we can't afford therapy. And I get that, like not everybody can afford therapy, but such a big part, why is my notebook messed up? Such a big part of, why we were obese and overweight in the first place, I'll fix that later, is because of some mental health aspect. I will die on that hill. Every single one of us has something, anxiety, OCD, worrying about our future, things that happened in our past, something that caused us to sort of have that flip switch and have a dependency on food. We need to, when we're on the weight loss journey, that can bring so many like mental shifts in our life. I talked about this in an Ask Me Anything that I just filmed. The whole like body dysmorphia thing and still thinking that you look this way, but you look that way, and still, the shift that happens and the habits that you have to break and the activities that you have to give up, the new activities that you can do. There are so many like mental shifts that happen within the weight loss journey itself, not even talking about your mental state before the weight loss journey that got you there in the first place. There's so many shifts that happen just during it. And so it's not beneficial to anybody for you to ignore your mental health and to not really allow yourself to process as things are going on. If you can't afford a therapist, get a journal. I myself have literally, I should have brought them on my desk in my bedroom. There are 4 notebooks stacked up and they're 4 different things. I have a junk journaling one where I do scrapbooking type journaling of how I'm feeling that day. I have one that I just write whatever I want to write, and I have one that is themed. So I'll give myself a prompt, and then I'll write about that. That has helped me so much when I couldn't get to therapy, just being able to get thoughts out. Even if you're on your laptop and you're just typing it out in a note and then deleting it afterwards so that nobody ever has to read it. Just getting things out of your brain and onto paper or into a note or, speaking them to somebody that you trust is so important. So please stop ignoring your mental health. When you put all of these things together, it's really like this perfect storm of success on the GLP-1. You have to mentally take care of yourself. You have to nutritionally take care of yourself. You have to move your body, and you have to educate yourself so that you know what to expect. Those 4 things is all you really need, and the shot, and then it'll work. And now I have a barking dog. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe if you're not already, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great day, guys. Bye.